Hi everyone, my name is Stas, and today I'm going to tell you about the plot of the 2024 film called Ascension, where people are forced to survive in the mountains because terrifying monsters are waiting for them below. The film begins with a narration about the start of an attack by unknown monsters all over the planet. 3 years ago, these events are commented on by the military, who communicate with each other via radio. The armies of all countries cannot hold back the invasion of mysterious creatures and are constantly retreating. Over the past 3 years, the few survivors have managed to find out that the monsters, for some reason, do not rise above 2,500 meters above sea level. Therefore, the luckiest decided to live at a certain altitude. Next, we are shown one of such settlements in the Colorado mountains and a boy named Hunter, who decided to descend below the safe boundary to admire another settlement located on a neighboring mountain. On his way back home, he notices that a red light is following him. Hunter runs with all his might up to the safe altitude. By this time, the monster started to catch up with him. The boy manages to cross the safety line at the very last moment, which forces the creature to retreat. Once home, Hunter tells his father, named Will, about the recent events. The man is extremely displeased with his son's antics. After scolding the boy, Will reminds him about his weak lungs, which might not withstand such exertion. Later, the man goes hunting with Katie, a friend of his late wife, who was named Tara. He shares with her the story of his son and all the details, the risky escapades of the boy. Katie persuades Will not to judge his son, as the child is simply bored without children his own age. Tracking down a lost deer, the pair easily captures it. On the way, they notice their neighbor Nina. Another resident of the settlement is creating armor-piercing bullets from available materials and then tests them on the monster's scales. It seems that Nina is obsessed with the idea of creating bullets capable of fighting back against the monsters that have taken over the world. In the evening, Will hears an unpleasant signal from his son's breathing support machine. The man changes the oxygen tank so that the boy can continue to breathe normally. It turns out that Hunter was born prematurely, which is why he has lung problems. After checking the oxygen tank supplies, Will concludes that he will have to go down and search the hospital of the nearest town, called Boulder. The next day, the father dedicates his time to his son. Together, they gather edible roots. A little later, the man trades the collected resources for a pack of macaroni and cheese, Hunter's favorite dish. After having dinner with the child, Will meets with Katie to have a couple of bottles of beer. Sitting on the porch, they reminisce about their carefree past life and watch Nina's experiments. In the evening, Hunter has another seizure, which can only be stopped with a medicinal injection. After that, the man decides to go to his neighbor, despite the late hour. It turns out that Nina has already made a risky trip to Boulder to gather everything needed to create weapons against the monsters. In that outing, Tara, Will's wife, died. Since Nina is the only one who managed to return alive from the trip, Will asks her to go with him. She refuses, reminding him that it's deadly dangerous. Not giving a clear answer to the man's request, the woman continued to adjust. Some kind of unusual compass. When morning comes, Will heads to the armory to get the necessary weapons for the trip. There, he is found by Katie, who volunteers to go with him. As they step out of the building, they meet Nina, who has finally agreed to go with them to Boulder. After saying goodbye to his son, Will, along with the two women, took the safe path that is at a certain elevation. On the way, a small argument breaks out between Nina and Katie. Noticing a wrecked column of military equipment down below, the travelers decide to check it for any surviving items. On the way, Nina talks about her unusual compass, which will warn of the presence of a monster from 500 meters away. It turns out that the monster emits a very strong magnetic field. Nina hands the compass to Katie while she and Will are busy searching for useful items. The man manages to find a whole underbarrel grenade launcher that can be attached to Katie's assault rifle. After that, a verbal spat breaks out again between the women. Will has no choice but to intervene.
Shit, stop it!
Bitch!
Soon they reach the ski resort, where there's a lift to another mountain. At that moment, Nina notices the strange behavior of the compass, which signals the presence of a monster. In a moment, the group sees a red light among the trees. Katie decides to run to a safe height, but Nina and Will don't support her decision and head towards the lift control panel. Katie, who has run away, blows up the monster, but it doesn't take any damage. The girls are shooting from different positions while Will connects the power and starts the lift. The man and Nina get on the chairlift and head up. Katie manages to climb up the support pole and then jumps to her teammates. The girl grabs the edge of the chair, but Will manages to catch her just in time. The monster strikes the cable with its tentacle, causing all three of them to fall to the ground. The height turned out to be not that great, so none of them were injured. The survivors get up and start running to the safe zone. All three of them manage to cross the border before the monster catches up with them. Upon reaching the resort cabin, the travelers decide to spend the night there. After drinking strong alcohol, Nina shares that the monster attack was too fast and overwhelming for people to realize where their weak spot was. Humanity lost this war in just a few days. It also turns out that they only attack humans, leaving animals alone. It seems that the monsters kill not out of hunger. Before going to sleep, Will remembers his wife. The next day, the group reaches the entrance to the tunnel that runs under the mountain. Nina notes that only the entrance and exit are above a safe height. In the middle, the passage will be accessible not only to them but also to the monsters. There's no hope for the compass either, because it doesn't work inside the mountain. Realizing all the risks, the travelers put on helmets with flashlights and enter the tunnel. At the other end of the path, they find that the exit is locked. The group decides to look for an exit at a lower level. In one of the corridors, they notice the red light of a monster. The travelers immediately start running. Katie uses a grenade, but nothing happens. The trio crawls into a small recess in the cave and holds their breath. It turns out that these monsters sense humans by the carbon dioxide. The monster is trying to feel for its victims. Will lights a flare and distracts the monster. That's enough time for all three to move into the narrow passage leading to the exit. Katie crawls in first. In a moment, she runs into another monster on the other side, which pierces her and drags her into the darkness. Will and Nina make their way outside using the nearest ladder. After coming to terms with Katie's loss, the couple continues on their way. They plan to spend the next night in a hunting cabin. There, Will finds a package of macaroni and cheese. During dinner, Nina shares that she has a theory about the armored monsters. Their scales create an electromagnetic field that can be closed off, and then the monsters will just start exploding. To test her hypothesis, she needs to get to the lab where the chemicals are. Will thinks her idea is useless nonsense. In the morning, the couple gets into the hunter's car and starts driving down. Before crossing the safe border, Will pauses. A pause, and then floors the gas. Scaring off the wild animals, the car rushes toward the deserted city. After reaching the hospital, the couple climbs inside. They carefully sneak up to the upper floors of the pantry, but inside there are only empty shelves. Will finds cabinets with supplies and fills his backpack while Nina marks the presence of the monster on the compass. Next, the couple runs toward the exit as the creature starts smashing the walls. The people go up to the next floor, where a monster grabs Will through the wall. Nina, using an axe, forces the clingy tentacles to let go of her partner. Turning on the fire suppression system for camouflage, people run to the end of the corridor. There, Will notices a storage of oxygen tanks and he gets an idea. After telling Nina to run, the man sets up an ambush. At the right moment, he takes a precise shot and pierces the tank, causing it to explode. The shockwave throws the monster out the window. Nina convinces Will not to rush home to the mountains, but to get to the nearby lab. They leave, unaware that the fallen monster is regaining consciousness. In the lab, Nina feels right at home. While the woman works with chemicals and tests new types of bullets, Will inspects the nearby rooms. He finds her office where a photo of Nina's family is left behind. The man didn't know that she had a husband and kids. The scientist shares that she lost them during the monster attack, and she survived only because she went to work on her day off. The first tests of the new bullets are not yielding positive results. Will suggests leaving, to which Nina responds with a refusal. She suggests that he go alone while she stays behind to finish her work. The woman makes a few more samples using the new method. The compass reacts to the presence of the monster, prompting Nina to hurry up. She gets the idea to use cobalt, which is used in making powerful heat-resistant magnets. Nina manages to create and charge the first sample of the new bullet just as the monster breaks into the building. Meanwhile, Will is racing towards the mountain, but a tire on his car blows out, leading to an accident. The man loses consciousness, and when he comes to, it's already evening outside. Hearing the monster nearby, Will grabs everything he needs and heads up the mountain. The creature with the hunchbacks is chasing him. The man almost reaches a safe area, but a second monster is already waiting for him near the border. Soon a third one appears. The creepy creatures start closing in on Will. He tries to shoot back when suddenly a monster falls from above, motionless, and then it explodes. Nina appears on the mountain with a full magazine of cobalt bullets. They close off the electromagnetic fields of the monsters, causing an explosion. The woman shoots down the remaining monsters, which, judging by the remains, are robots. The survivors return to the village where Will meets his joyful son. Nina gives a signal to the other settlements, indicating that she has found a way to fight the monsters. The joyful news spreads over the radio, and the local craftsmen are making cobalt coatings for the bullets from available materials. After placing a saving bullet with Katie's name at the local memorial, Nina and Will set off to hunt the monsters. A team of volunteers with new weapons is descending from the mountain. Explosions of destroyed robots can be seen everywhere. It seems humanity has decided to take back the planet, and they have a pretty good chance. The film Ascension is quite simple and isn't a masterpiece, but I can't really say anything bad about this project. The likable actors and the one-time story allow this film to earn the status of a decent Shua movie. At the time of this recap, the film has a rating of... How would you rate this film? Be sure to let me know in the comments. That brings us to the end of our video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you found it interesting, then definitely support this video with a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our new episodes. Well, that was Stars, who is already preparing a new recap for you. Stay healthy, watch only good movies, and play only good games. Good luck to everyone, and goodbye.